There's been a lot of discussion surrounding the recent discovery that Metal Gear Survive's intro cutscene features a secret message that seemingly hails Kojima Productions while shunning Konami. There are those who argue that this was the work of a few developers who decided to rebel in their own little way, while others believe that this was just a self-deprecating joke. I myself lean more towards the former, mainly due to the derogatory nature behind bits like Metal Gear being labeled as killed in action, and Metal Gear Survive lead devs being labeled with insults like bastard, cunning, the word cunning is an insult in Japan for those who don't know, and AWOL, which is military code for someone who abandons their post. There is also the fact that with Konami having gone so far as to remove Kojima's name and the Kojima Productions label from Phantom Pain's art box and promotional material, it's doubtful that they'd allow any references to Kojima's old team, so I believe something like KJP Forever would have had to be snuck in there. But for now, this is all a matter of interpretation. The fact of the matter is that nobody knows for sure who was responsible for the message, what the exact intentions behind this was, who and how many devs were in on it, or whether Konami was even aware of it. Now, there is another message that sticks out in Metal Gear Survive, one that thanks Metal Gear Solid 5's developers. There is nothing secretive or underhanded about this one, it's simply something that appears in the end credits of the game, which, as you can see, simply says, "Special thanks, Metal Gear Solid 5, all staff." While this is a nice acknowledgement, I do think it's peculiar and telling that the special thanks is so impersonal, especially to the man who led the team responsible for Metal Gear Solid 5 and the man who fathered the Metal Gear series, Hideo Kojima. While it does technically thank Kojima, as he is one of the MGS5 staff that Survive gives special thanks to, it does so in a very indirect way. And I'm not putting this out to kiss ass or whatever, it's just that when someone who has contributed so much to a game series for such a long time leaves, it is traditional for them to get some kind of special acknowledgement. We saw something like this in the end credits of Uncharted 4, which features a segment with a thoughtful message with sincere and deep gratitude to Amy Hennig for her contributions to the Uncharted series. Amy Hennig, for those who don't know, was the creative director of the Uncharted series before she left Naughty Dog following Uncharted 3 to pursue other ventures. She was arguably the mother of Uncharted, the one who nurtured it into what it is today, and the staff made sure that Uncharted 4 memorialized her in recognition of this. It's a whole other story with Metal Gear Survive, the first Metal Gear outing since Kojima's unceremonious departure. Here's the thing though, I do think that if it were up to Metal Gear Survive's developers, especially the ones who worked with Kojima prior to his departure, this special thanks would look different and more personal. I think that ultimately it was Konami who denied the developers permission to mention Kojima's name. After all, we are talking about the same Konami that went out of their way to remove Kojima and his team's signature from the game's box art and promotional material, the same Konami that was so petty as to deny Kojima a trip to the Video Game Awards to accept his award for Metal Gear Solid 5 The Phantom Pain, the same Konami who is using their influence in the Japanese gaming industry to make it a pain in the ass for any developer who quit the company in light of the Kojima-Konami feud to get a job, the same Konami who went as far as using their influence in Japan's insurance industry to deny the ability for the new Kojima Productions to get company-wide insurance, so on and so forth. I think this impersonal special thanks was the most that Konami would allow the Metal Gear Survive staff to get away with. I think it was stipulated that the word Kojima not be used in the game, which isn't an unlikely prospect considering all that's happened. Which is in large part why I'm convinced that the secret message in the intro cutscene of the game was a small way for devs to rebel against the publisher. It feels to me as though this was their way of memorializing Kojima Productions against Konami's wishes, hence why they had to do it in such a roundabout way. From where I'm sitting, there's this strange dichotomy between the sneaky message in the intro cutscene directly hailing Kojima Productions versus the sterile message presented in the credits. The former message feels more like the devs are actually speaking their minds, while the latter message feels like it's been diluted by the petty corporate overlords. Say what you want about Kojima, but at the very least, he had the integrity to thank Konami directly in an interview from August 2017, acknowledging that the company did allow him the freedom to make whatever he wanted without much interference for much of his time there. While Konami brought him no shortage of pain in the months leading up to his departure, he still acknowledged that he is where he is because of Konami. Konami, on the other hand, pettily refuses to so much as recognize Kojima or Kojima Productions' existence, despite how much they contributed to Konami's relevance in the gaming industry. It is what it is though. With all said and done, Metal Gear Survive's impersonal thanks isn't really that big of a deal. Plus, the cleverly implemented Kojima Productions Forever tribute has been heard loudly and clearly by the gaming community after its discovery, and that's certainly worth something, especially for the Survive devs who did want to give Kojima and his old team full acknowledgement and a proper goodbye. These are just one man's perspective anyway. I'd love to hear what your take is on all of this in the comments below. With that, I would like to end this news update. Thank you for tuning in. If you enjoy my content, consider supporting me on Patreon. It is completely optional, but donating even as little as $1 a month will go a long way in helping this channel grow. And to be further updated on all things gaming news, reviews, and discussions, stay tuned right here on Young Yeah. I'll see you guys next time. Young out!